It's earlier, better earlier than later. So today we have amazing subject: how to embrace your personal brand style and become even more visible. And we have even more amazing guest, Kitti Majoran, brand award winning brand strategist. Because I needed to add the first part
Mhm.
as it's important. Kitty, do you want to add something to introduce yourself more in depth?
Yeah, of course. So, hello everyone who's watching the replay. My name is Kitti. I'm an award-winning brand strategist, and I work with entrepreneurs or businesses run by non-native English speakers who want to establish themselves in the international market or enter a specific English-speaking market. And I help them build brands that essentially connect, attract, and engage with English-speaking audiences.
Yeah, and this is something I've heard for the first time, Kitty, when I met you. I've
Mhm.
never heard, and actually, it's when we talk about female entrepreneurs, coaching business, or any business, it's actually a lot of non-native speakers
Mhm.
doing business in English. So I thought immediately, wow, what an amazing idea.
Mhm.
And actually, how amazing you respond for needs already, which are on the market, and you named that. You just took what's there and you named that. So today we will go deeper into brand strategy, as this is a specialty of Kitty, and actually something what we really all being here want to dive deeper. Because first question, Kitty, when I think about brand strategy, I always think like, where is the good moment to start? Because we are all busy working in
Mhm.
our businesses, not
Mhm.
on our businesses, and it seems like the brand strategy, personal brand styling is something. It's like cherry on the top.
Not at all,
Mhm.
actually. That's the biggest misconception. So, if you don't start working on your brand as soon as possible, then what will happen is that you will accidentally build yourself a bad brand. So, you have a brand. People think that brand is just something that big companies have or whatever. Everybody has a brand, whether even if you don't have a business, you have a brand because brand is your brand as the Jeff Bezos said it once. It's like what people say about you when you leave the room. So it's the same in the online space as well, and especially if you're a business owner, it's very important that you put effort into building your brand strategically, because if you don't, then you can end up with a not very good brand. So yeah, I do get people like that. People
Yeah.
tell me like, oh yeah, I'll let you know when I start working on my brand, but every
Oh,
minute
I'm
you're
not
not.
ready, right? I'm not ready, not yet.
Yes, but every moment you're not spending working on your brand, you're actually working against yourself because you're creating yourself a not very good brand. And the thing about branding is that a lot of people think that it's just about the looks. It's like your logo, it's your colors, it's how you're presenting yourself. But that is actually just the tip of the iceberg. It's a very important piece of the puzzle, but it's not the entire puzzle itself. It's what we call brand identity. That is your looks and the way like your logos and your slogan and all that stuff. Branding, it's about promoting yourself. So you have to promote your business. There's no business without sales, and there's no sales without marketing, and that's a fact. You have to promote your business, but branding is taking marketing and putting strategy behind it. So it's not just that you're constantly hustling and going after your next sale, but simultaneously you are going after your sales, you're promoting yourself, but simultaneously you are positioning yourself, you're solidifying yourself in the marketplace, and you're showing people that what you stand for, and you're continuously reinforcing that message so that eventually the hustling, the chasing can stop, and you can get the people come to you. And even until that point happens, the brand can start working for you quite early on as well. So even if it's your first year in business, like it is my first year in business, I've had a very nice consistency throughout the months. We've always made some money, and it's because we were building our brand strategically so that some months you were doing a bit of chasing, some months you were doing a bit of attraction, and that was kind of balancing out. And I
And
know
you
for
can
a
breathe
fact.
then. So you inhale and inhale and
Exactly. There's
yeah,
the balance. Exactly.
yeah,
And then I know for a fact that the longer you work on it, the sooner it can work for you even more. So you get even more of the attraction, and then you can leave the chasing, where you can start focusing that in new markets and expansion and everything. So the sooner you start working on your brand, the sooner you will get to a point where people actually come to you because they will know who you are. If you are neglecting that and you are not showing up consistently, you are not putting effort into that, then unfortunately you're going to be chasing for as long as you're in business, because that's exactly the difference between marketing and branding. Marketing is like the push strategy, whereas branding is that plus the attraction. And how are you going to attract? Well, you're going to attract by standing for something, by showing up differently, and then consistently doing that message so that people start to get to know you. So that's why, for
yeah. And
example, it's important. Yeah, like when you said at the start that you were like, oh, I've never heard something like that or whatever, that is number one thing in branding. Stand for something no one else is standing for, and you will stand out. And that's something that there's a million brand strategists out there, probably more. But because I focus my niche on the non-native English speakers, that makes me stand out between all of them, among all of them. And because of that, I've had multiple people approach me, asking me to work with me, asking me to speak on their stages, asking me to be featured on their magazines. Now I'm actually getting involved with TV, and it's all because of that. Because when you tell someone I'm a brand strategist, they're like, but if you tell them I'm a
again,
brand strategist for non-native English speakers, it's like, ah, okay, this is something different. So how can you combine things about yourself that makes you different and makes you stand out, and then just continuously say that as many times as you need to until it becomes solidified in people's minds that you are that person that they have to go to if they have that problem?
yeah, Kitty. From what you are saying, it seems that the moment you start building your business, it's the same moment you start building your brand. Because
Yeah,
when you don't do it intentionally, it
yeah,
happens anyway. So
exactly.
it's really acting intentionally. It's working on your brand from the very beginning.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Exactly,
And
exactly.
you mentioned also how it influences your business from the first day. But I want to go deeper into visibility. How brand strategy can help you to
Mhm.
be visible.
So brand strategy is essentially that, brand
Mhm.
strategy, the strategy is essentially the things you do to make yourself visible and credible. So I'm sure you've heard the know, like, trust
Yeah.
factor, that people talk about, or I'm sure you've heard the words like brand awareness or brand loyalty. These are all kind of the same things, or visibility, credibility. These are all the same things explained differently. So yeah, brand strategy, it's about creating, like, doing, like you said, acting intentionally, doing everything you do with end goal in mind, and the outcome. So the end goal is that you become more visible so that more people know you, and you become more credible so that more people trust you. And through people knowing you, liking you, and trusting you is how you can achieve that. They will come, and they will always pay more money for you, or they will go out of their way to come and work with you. Or if you ever have to raise your prices or something like that, people won't mind as much. Or if there's an economic downturn, it protects you, because people in economic downturn kind of times, they always consider more what they're spending their money on.
Yeah.
So the strong brands are the ones that actually stay strong in these times as well, because people will choose them over another one when they have to make decisions about where to spend their money. So
And
yeah,
there
so
is also this recognition, right?
sorry.
There is also recognition element in this like brand strategy
Yeah,
helps us to be
exactly, exactly.
recognizable during all
Yeah,
different channels
yeah.
we are showing up.
Exactly, exactly. So it's about where you are, how you show up, so like all of these things, that you become memorable, you stand out, you become memorable, you become trustworthy, like all of these things, you're associated with the right things as well. So one of the things I do is I specialize in brand equity, which is a special, but it essentially represents the power of a brand. And it comes down to these factors, like who knows you, so your brand awareness, what do they associate you with, like what are the different things you want them to feel when they think about your brand. So yeah, becoming recognizable, that's part of brand awareness. But it's one thing that someone recognizes you and they're like, oh yeah, that's Nike, and it's another thing to be like, oh, that's Nike. You know, like when you're eliciting
Mhm.
feelings, that is brand associations. That's what we call it. Or those feelings don't just accidentally happen. Like teams, large teams of brand strategists engineer these things together for you to feel that way. Okay. So that's brand associations. Then you have perceived quality, which in other words is your credibility, because that's the thing about quality. Quality means different things for everyone. So there's not really a thing, such thing as quality. Quality perceived, because for you it could be like quality may mean, I don't know, like really high-end piece of clothing and you're all about like the durability of the material. But
Yeah.
for someone else, quality could be H&M, because they get style and low prices, and for them that's what equals quality. So it's understanding what your audience favors or what they appreciate as their quality, and then showing that you are that, their expectations for quality. So again, this is something that is managed by brand managers. And that's why, by the way, a lot of the times you will see that, for example, clothing brands, just because we're talking about styling, you will
Yeah.
see that there is a parent company that will own a lot of different brands. Like, for example, to go with the example of H&M, they also have COS, and they also have, I think it's I Hate Mondays or whatever, and they're
I think
all
they
like,
also have Arcade.
sorry.
I think I also they have Arcade, but also even going Tommy Hilfiger, Calvin Klein, and PVH
Exactly.
over.
All of them have, and all of them have different levels, because
Yeah.
they know that each segment of their audience will think of quality differently. So they have to meet every single one of them. So previously, these would be different brands created for different types of people. But now it's like, it's the same with cars, it's the same with everything. Once you start paying attention, you realize that all these big corporations, they will have like loads of different products so that they can match quality expectations of different levels of groups of people in the society, of different shoppers. So yeah, so it's the perceived quality, that it's a big thing that we do in branding. And of course brand loyalty, because it's one thing for them to like you and buy from you, but you want to make sure that they keep coming back. So how do you ensure that? So if you're a product, like, that's why, for example, um in coffee shops, you know, you go and they give you a stamp and your 10th coffee is for free, right? They do that because they want you to be loyal, to keep coming back. So it's the same things you can do in service business. So what we can do is like build communities, build email lists. Those are the kind of spaces where you can facilitate brand loyalty. You can continuously show up for people, continuously provide value of some sort, so that next time they have a similar need, they come back to you. Of course, developing the relationships, whatever. So that's kind of what it all comes down to. When I talk about brand strategy, I talk about brand equity. Other brand strategists may talk about different elements of different parts of branding, because there's a lot to it. But
Mhm.
for in my opinion, if you're going to build your brand strategically, your end goal is that your brand is strong. And for that to happen, you have to look at these four areas. You have to make sure that you are known by the right people and you're recognized, so you stand out and they remember you. So brand awareness. You have to elicit feelings so that people actually love you, or feel excited when they see you, or feel moved, or feel whatever. Like, there is this frozen french fries brand in the UK, and I don't eat processed food like that, but every time their ad comes in, I'm like, I know it's gonna be emotional. They always put in those most emotional ads about family and coming together. So I'm always like, oh, I know this is gonna be like, that way of, like, eliciting emotion, so that's your brand associations. Then your perceived quality, where do you want your quality level? So if you're a service, obviously, and people can't touch you, then you have to put a lot of effort into perceived quality through how you show up online, how your website looks, how your social media looks, how your content looks. Like, there's so many elements that you need to have in place so that at every single touch point, the prospect is reassured of the quality of your service, from the registration pages to sign up to your email list, to the checkout pages of your shopping things. Everything needs to be very, very perfectly organized so that they feel like, okay, this is a quality service, I can invest my money in this. So yeah, especially if you're selling high end. And then lastly, the brand loyalty. So what can you do to make sure that people come back to you? And then we also have another element which we call other assets, and that is just like, what other random thing can you leverage about yourself? Like, for example, I don't know, my business is based in Scotland. The fact that I'm a UK business, I can use it to my advantage. If I'm competing against countries that maybe don't have so much credibility in the global space or whatever. So it's like other random things that just kind of happen to be part of your business that you can leverage as well to your advantage. And you can say to people like, oh, because of this, I can deliver a better service, or I'm this way, or I'm that way, or whatever.
And this is where a personal brand style also incorporates. Like when you talk about website, registration page, graphics, messaging, this is where everything starts to be coherent. But what you said, Kitti, feelings,
Mm-hmm.
this is something what makes us stand out already, and being recognizable as well, and being wanted, desired. And I will give you an example, two examples actually. When I shop for clothes, I
Mm-hmm.
don't buy anymore anything what doesn't make me emotional, or make my
Mm-hmm.
heart beat faster, because I want
Mm-hmm.
quality. I want to see the designing process, creative process, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to look at the piece of my, items in my wardrobe, and I want to know what was the thought behind, what was creative
Mm-hmm.
process. So I really want more from clothes,
Mm-hmm.
but for everybody and for every brand it will be something different.
Yeah.
And one time when I remember this, what you say about emotions, like how we associate brands, I bought a
Mm-hmm.
car because I really, half a year before I bought the specific brand, I've seen the advertisement and I really loved it. And actually, I want to buy a totally different car, much smaller, and I ended up with something really different because unconsciously, actually, I had it already in my mind. But the other thing was that the color of the car was called jeans, and I thought it's brilliant to call
Mm-hmm.
the color like funny name or something which attracts you. Like I thought, oh my god, I've never seen a car which color is jeans. You cannot have jeans color car, but it
Mm-hmm.
seems you can. So all the things which happened on the way made me buy totally different car I
Exactly.
wanted. So I
Yeah. So this is
upgraded on the spot, being the car service. I just upgraded into hours. Like I came to buy something different, and actually the salespeople didn't need to do anything because it was here
Mhm.
already. And
Yeah,
of course, in my heart, because these were these feelings you are talking about.
exactly. That's exactly what branding does. It's about like essentially working with people's reason. So their reasoning, like, is this a good idea for me to invest? But also the emotions, like, do I feel like I want to invest in it? And this is exactly how that happens then, that you start attracting in this the car example is perfect, and we can apply that to like service based entrepreneurs as well. This is how you're going to end up attracting clients to your business, because you build your brand strategically. Like they did that strategically, they did the right ads, they called it the right name, and all of these, the color, they made the color the right thing. So all of these things were put in place for a reason, and then because of that, you actually chose them over a car that was in your mind way before that. And I
And it was
have
not even
clients
planned. So for me, it's like a magic. So, I think I can call brand strategy in a way magic you do from the beginning for your
actually,
business.
Yeah, it is it's about really showing how, and it's also about expressing your uniqueness. And I think this is why the magic comes from, because through expressing your uniqueness, you're going to
Mm,
attract people who want to be associated with that type of uniqueness, or who already are associating themselves with that type of uniqueness. And it's just amazing, because you don't have to. Marketing is super competitive. Marketing is all about like, okay, what is the other people in the industry doing, like let's go and outdo them or outperform. And marketing is also copy. It's a very copy paste job. Like if you've ever studied marketing campaigns, you realize that it's very much like somebody comes up with a formula, and then everyone in the industry will just tweak it, copy, tweak, paste, copy, tweak,
mm,
paste. And then somebody else comes up, and it's just constantly competition and hustling and whatever. Whereas branding is the opposite. Branding is about like creation. It's like, what is unique about me? Let me create a space for that. And then everyone who's going to associate themselves with it will come to me. And no one else can copy you, because you are channeling your uniqueness into the uniqueness of your brand. So, for example, the reason why I'm not worried about competition, I don't even look at other brand strategists. I don't care, like I'm like, and it's in and the reason for that is because I know that, me, my story with being an English non-native, my story with having a failed business because I didn't know how to promote it, because I had that perceived language barrier, and how I overcame it and went back to study and became really good at this. But I also have a lot of experience teaching English as a second language, so I decided to channel all of these things into one thing, and put piece it all together and create something completely unique that no one else can do. So, and that's how it made me stand out, and it still does. And I still get loads of people, like I said at the start, they'll be like, oh, this is very interesting, this is very different, this is very unique. When in reality, every single one of us could do what I did, because every single one of us have our own unique set of skills, unique set of passions, unique everything that makes us who we are, our stories and everything that can create something that stands out so much. But people are afraid to sometimes to go niche, because they think that means excluding people, when in reality it's actually what puts you in front of even more people.
mm,
So what I would, and also they are like, they're scared that, oh, like I don't want to sound like everyone. I don't know, sometimes this is something I hear, like, oh, I don't want to do branding because I want to do my marketing differently. But branding is actually, you do marketing your way. Like it's a very free flowing creative kind of space, which is why I prefer it to marketing as well. Not to mention the advantage that eventually you're going to be at the point where you attract and you don't have to chase so much. So
and
yeah.
this is what I think, this is what we all dream about, right? Not to hustle,
Exactly.
it doesn't need to be
Exactly.
hard work. And I really believe in simple solutions, which doesn't mean that brand strategy is simple. But once you have a strategy, you have steps to follow. And I think, Kitty, it's important what
Exactly.
you said, that you can still be unique. So you don't follow
Yeah.
one fits all formula, but you
No.
take your uniqueness and you just pack it and you implement it in a cohesive way. Because I really
Exactly.
believe that cohesiveness, it's really something which is lacking once you don't have a brand strategy. You just
Exactly.
go randomly places, spending time, not having the effect. Kitty,
Hmm.
do you have one tip for our audience today that they could implement immediately once we finish? Where to start?
I mean, start working on your brand as soon as possible. Of course, this is like easier said than done. It really depends on where you are on your journey as well. Like if you're just starting out or you are further ahead, like think about like, okay, where can I get, the starting point will be different. But if you are starting out from zero, I do have the first thing you would want to collect, become clear on what you want, right? Like who you are, I suppose, how, what you can bring to the market, how can you combine your passions, experience, skills, expertise, all of that to create something brand new. And then just kind of show up with it. But clarity is key. It's a key founding base that without that you can try build, nothing's gonna work. So get clear on your niche, get clear on who you want to serve, and don't be afraid to go niche, because just because you go specifically focus on one part of the market now, that doesn't mean that you can't get to the point where you can help everyone, because that's something that a lot of people say, like, oh, I can help everyone, I don't need to focus on a specific part of the market. It's not true. If everyone is your customer, then no one is your customer. This is like marketing 101. So you want to speak specifically to a certain type of person. Once you master that pocket of the market, you can move into the next one, and then the next one, and then the next one, until you reach that point of helping everyone, if that's your goal. But get clear. If you are more advanced on your journey, I would suggest, well, either way, I would suggest hiring a brand strategist. Obviously, I would say that, but I think you can just save yourself so much headache, because even if you have a person that is doing your social media for you, let's say you already have a VA and whatever, if you don't have strategy behind what they are doing, then you're just showing up for the sake of showing up, and you're never gonna, it's not gonna bring as much return on investment as it could. So having a strategist on board working with you, they can really make all the difference. So if you are starting out, I know, like, when you first start out, like, the budget is not huge. So I created a digital course, which is actually, and I even reduced the price recently, because I'm like, I just want to make it as accessible as possible. You don't need to have any marketing background, because everything is fully simplified and everything is very practical. It consists of 12 lessons, which are self-paced, but you get access to me for questions throughout. There's also templates to support you, and there's 12 lessons, and it will take you step by step through laying down the foundation of a strong brand and using LinkedIn. So that's like a social media platform a lot of my clientele uses, so that's why it focuses on that. It's also the number one social media platform for personal branding, so that's another reason why. But I also have this available on the different lessons are also available separately if someone doesn't want to do all of it, but just some parts of it. But I think the way I designed it is that it takes you from zero to brand hero, as we call it. So it starts with getting clear on your niche, ideal client, your brand messaging. Then it helps you design your brand identity strategically. Again, how you pick your colors should be done with strategy, because it affects psychology. Color combinations affect psychology. So use that. And it's another way of getting feelings, right? And then it goes into social media profile and the content strategy and a lot of these practical things and email lists and all that. So that's what I would love for people who are interested to check out, because I think it's a really valuable course. I've put in so much effort into it. I've run the course multiple times before putting it into digital, so I know it works and I know it's very powerful.
And
Anyone
how
more
long does
advanced?
it take, Kitty? How long does it take when so
So
how long you
it's,
can go through the can you do it like just 12 lessons in 12 days and you are done, or you really need like
yeah,
two,
well, I
three
mean,
months?
you can, but it will be intensive. It will be quite intensive, because obviously each lesson, like, you kind of do some work in the lesson. There are some things, like, for example, your LinkedIn profile, it will take you like half a, depending on how your LinkedIn profile is at the moment, but it could take you a few hours just to like do that. If you want to set aside 12 days and just go all in, you can get it done, and then you just have to build on it. Once you've laid down the foundations, you just build on it and build on it. If so I originally ran it as 3 months every time with people, so I know it can be done in 3 months. So you can do like one lesson a week, especially if you are still working, maybe for like a lot of people who are starting out, they still have a job, so it's not that easy for them to take so much time. So you can do it over 3 months, but you actually get access for a full year to it, so that you can, if you need something that comes up and you need more time or whatever, there's that option as well. But technically, yeah, you can go through it in 12 days. It will be intense, and but yeah, it's doable. But it's
Yeah, I
it's
can
not like,
imagine, depending how
like,
people work. Some
exactly,
of
it
them
all
want to
it
do it
really
once and
depends.
have it done. Some people can really take
Exactly.
time. But truly
Yes,
speaking, Kitty, from
yes.
what you are saying, it takes time in a way. So you can go
Yeah,
step by step, but you need to have this thinking process and also
yeah,
feeling process, like how
yeah,
you want to show up to the world,
yeah,
because
yeah,
actually
yeah,
branding
yeah,
is like the way
exactly.
of you showing up true as truly self.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And that's exactly what it does. It just it helps you put your uniqueness into strategy, into strategic steps. So it's about like, yes, you can do it in 12 days, but afterwards you will have to work on it like continuously. So just the same things that you learned there, just keep implementing and implementing. Like one of the things, for example, one of the lessons is about content strategy. So you can understand that, but it's up to you to then implement that, and week after week you come up with that same, like that, like different balance, the balance in your content and the different types of content to create it. So I tell you how to do it, and then you just take the how to and you channel in your own uniqueness, and then you go with it. And of course, like you said, branding is a longevity game. You have to keep doing it and doing it. That doesn't mean it's not going to bring you results early, because it does, because it's a very powerful way of promoting yourself, and you're still promoting yourself, so you're still getting ahead. But the longer you do it, the stronger and stronger and stronger it gets. And you also have to be willing to test and experiment and try different things, because each audience is different as well. So yeah.
And fail, I guess, few times before you
Yeah,
find a
absolutely.
golden key, which is actually
Absolutely.
a way of being an entrepreneur, right? Like you mentioned
Yeah,
yourself, first business which
exactly.
didn't work actually, but second one
Yeah.
did.
And I mean, even now I fail on a daily basis all the time, but that's how you learn. You have to test and experiment. Even if you get the top of the top creme de la creme of strategists, they will still tell you like you have to test and see what works for your audience and your business. So yeah, if you are more ahead in your journey and you're like, okay, I've been doing this for a while and it's not really going the way I wanted, then I would recommend reaching out to me, and I can leave a link to my call, and we can talk about how I can help you fix that. Sometimes for some people it can be as short as 6 weeks of working with a professional, and then they have things in place, and then all they have to do is just build on it. Other times it's longer, but yeah, it can be an easy fix. So it's about, yeah, considering where you how is your brand working for you is the first question. Maybe that's my best tip. Have a think, is my brand working for me? What I mean by this, do people come to my inbox saying I want to work with you? Do people come to my inbox saying I want you to speak on my stage? Do people come to your inbox asking to be featured in their magazine? If not, if your answer is no to all three of them, then your brand is not working for you. You still have a brand, but it's not working for you. So you're just kind of throwing out marketing efforts into the open air, and then hoping for the best. So in that case, I think I recommend just getting in touch as soon as possible. It doesn't have to be me, it can be any brand strategist who can essentially help you fix that so that it does start working for you. So
But
yeah.
Kitty, the most important what you said also at the beginning, clarity is the key. Whether
Mhm.
you are at the beginning of your journey, or even when you are advanced, revising a brand strategy, it's also the way of improving and going through in this journey. Kitty, I'm
Yeah.
putting and for all of you listening, I'm putting links to the course if you want to start, and to the call with Kitty if you want to continue. But for all of you also to remember, when we finish, for you to start, get clarity where you
Mhm.
want to go and how your brand is working for
Mhm.
you. Thank you, Kitty, and see you
Thank you
somewhere
as
in
well.
the online space. Thanks.
Yes, thanks very much. Thank you. Bye, everyone.